वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 16, text number 4 onwards. So this section is about Jambudvip and its Varsas and Mount Sumeru. In the previous section till text number 3, Parikshit Maharaj asked this question about the details of Jambudvip. So now Shukdev Goswami is speaking. Text 4. Rishiruvacha न वै महाराज भगवतो माया गुणविभूते काष्ठां मनसा वा वचसा वाधिगन्तुमलं विबुधायुषापि पुरुषस्तस्मात् प्राधान्येनैव भूगोलकविशेषं नामरूपमानलक्षणतो व्याख्यास्यामः. ऋषिवाच. Sri Sukdev Goswami continued to speak. Na, not. Why, indeed. Maharaj, O great king, Bhagavataha, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Maya Guna Vibhute, of the transformation of the qualities of the material energy. Kastham, the end. Manasa, by the mind. Vachasa, by words. Va, either. Adhigantum, to understand fully. Alam, capable. Vibudha Ayusha, with the duration of like that of Brahma. Api, even Purusha, a person. Tasmat, therefore. Pradhanyena, by a general description of the chief places. Eva, certainly. Bhugolak Vishesham, the particular description of Bhulok. Nam Rupa, names and forms. Mana, measurements. Lakshanataha, according to symptoms. Vyakhyasyaamaha, I shall try to explain. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. The great Rishi Shukdev Goswami said, My dear king, there is no limit to the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's material energy. This material world is a transformation of the material qualities, Satvaguna, Rajaguna, and Tamaguna. Yet, no one could possibly explain it perfectly. Very important. Even in a lifetime as long as that of Brahma. No one in the material world is perfect, and an imperfect person could not describe this material universe accurately, even after continued speculation. O king, I shall nevertheless try to explain to you the principal regions such as Bhuloka, with their names, forms, measurements, and various symptoms. Purpose. The material world is only one fourth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's creation. But it is unlimited and impossible for anyone to know or describe, even with the qualification of a life as long as that of Brahma, who lives for millions and millions of years. Modern scientists and astronomers Modern scientists and astronomers try to explain the cosmic situation and the vastness of space, and some of them believe that all the glittering stars are different suns. From Bhagavad Gita, however, we understand that all these stars, nakshatras, are like the moon, in that they reflect the sunshine. They are not independent luminaries. Bhuloka is explained to be that portion of outer space through which the heat and light of the sun extend. Therefore, it is natural to conclude that This universe extends in space as far as we can see and encompasses the glittering stars. So it is natural to conclude that this universe extends in space as far as we can see and encompasses the glittering stars. Srila Shukdev Goswami admitted that to give full details of this expensive material universe would be impossible. But nevertheless, he wanted to give the king as much knowledge as he had received through the parampara system. We should conclude that if one cannot comprehend the material expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one certainly cannot estimate the expansiveness of the spiritual world. Wow. The Brahma Samhita 5.33 confirms this. Advaitam achyutam anadim anantarupam adyam purana purusham navayavanam cha. The limits of the expansions of Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, cannot be estimated by anyone, even a person as perfect as Brahma, not to speak of tiny scientists whose senses and instruments are all imperfect and who cannot give us information of even this one universe. We should therefore be satisfied with the information obtainable from Vedic sources as spoken by authorities like Shukdev Goswami. Text 5. Yo vayam dvipa कुवलया कमल कोशाभ्यंतर कोशो नियुत योजन विशालः समवर्तुलो यथा पुष्कर पत्रम यहा which va either I am this Dvipaha island, Kuvalaya the Bhulok, Kamalakosha of the whole of a lotus flower, Abhyantara inner, Kosha whole, Niyut Yojan Vishala 1 million yojanas 8 million miles wide, Samvartulaha equally round or having a length and breadth of the same measurement, Yatha like Pushkar Patram a lotus leaf. The planetary system known as Bhumandal resembles a lotus flower, and its seven islands resemble the whole of that flower. The length and breadth of the island known as JambudvIpa, which is situated in the middle of the whole, are 1 million yojanas. That means 8 million miles. JambudvIpa is round like the leaf of a lotus flower. 6. यस्मिन्निव वर्षाणि नवयोजनसहस्रयामानि अष्टभिर्मर्यादागिरिभिर्सुविभक्तानि भवन्ति. Yasmin in that Jambudvip, Nava 9 Varshani divisions of land, Nava Yojan Sahasra 72,000 miles in length. Ayamani measuring, Ashtabhi by 8, Maryada indicating the boundaries, Giribhi by mountains, Suvibhaktani nicely divided from one another, Bhavanti are. In Jambudvip, there are 9 divisions of land, each with a length of 9,000 yojanas, that means 72,000 miles. So there are 8 mountains that mark the boundaries of these divisions and separate them nicely. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the following quotation from the Vayu Purana, wherein the locations of the various mountains beginning with the Himalayas are described. धनुर्वत् संस्थिते ज्ञे द्वे वर्षे दक्षिणोत्तरे दीर्घाणि तत्र चत्वारि चतुराश्रम इलावृतम् इति दक्षिणोत्तरे भारतोत्तरकुरुवर्षे चत्वारि किंपुरुष हरिवर्ष रम्यक हिरण्यमयानि वर्षाणि नीलनिषधयोस् तीरशिचानि तीरशि तीरश्चीनी भूय समुद्रप्रविष्टयो संलग्नवतम् संलग्नत्वम् अङ्गीकृत्य भद्राश्वकेतुमालयोरपि धनुर् आकृतित्वम् अतस्तयोर्दैर्घ्यत एव मध्ये संकुचितत्वेन नवसहस्र्या नवसहस्रायामत्वम् इलावृतस्य तु मेरोः साक्षात् चतुर्दिक्षु नवसहस्र्या सहस्रायामत्वं सम्भवेत् वस्तुतस्तव इलावृता भद्राश्वकेतुमालानां त्रिंशत् सहस्रायामत्वं ज्ञेयम् येषां मध्ये इलावृतं नामाभ्यन्तरवर्षं यस्य नाभ्यामवस्थितः सर्वतः सौवर्णकुलगिरिराजो मेरुर्द्वीपायां समुन्नाः कर्णिकाभूतकुवलयकमलस्य मूर्धनि 32,000 योजनविततो मूले 16,000 तावान्तर्भूम्यां प्रविष्टः येषां Seventh shloka. Esham, all these divisions of Jambudvipa Madhye among Ilavratam Nama, named Ilavrat Varsha, Abhyantar Varsham, the inner division, Yasya, of which Nabhyam, in the navel, Avasthitaha, situated, Sarvataha, entirely, Savarnaha, made of gold, Kulagiri Rajaha, the most famous among famous mountains, Meru, Mount Meru, Dweep Ayama, Samunah, whose height is the same measurement as the width of Jambudvip, Karnika Bhuta, existing as the pericarp, Kuvalaya of the planetary system, Kamalasya like a lotus flower, Murdhani on the top, Dvatrimshat 32, Sahasra 1000, Yojanas 8 miles each, Vitataha expanded, Mule at the base, Sodasha Sahasram 16,000 Yojanas, Tavat so much, Antah Bhumyam within the earth, Pravishta entered. Amidst these divisions or Varsas is the Varsha named Ilavarta, which is situated in the middle of the whole of the lotus. Within Ilavarta Varsa is Sumeru mountain, which is made of gold. Sumeru mountain is like the pericarp of the lotus-like Bhumandal planetary system. The mountain's height is the same as the width of Jambudvip, or in other words, 100,000 yojanas, that means 8,000 miles. Of that, 16,000 yojanas, 128,000 miles, are within the earth, and therefore the mountain's height above the earth is 84,000 yojanas, that means 672,000 miles. The mountain's width is 32,000 yojanas, that means 256,000 miles at its summit and 16,000 yojanas at its base. This is Sumeru mountain. उत्तरोत्तरेणेलावृतं नीलः श्वेतशृङ्गवानीति त्रयो रम्यक हिरण्मयकुरूणां वर्षाणां मर्यादागिर्या प्रागायता उभयता चारोदावधयो द्विसहस्रपृथव एकैकशा पूर्वस्मात् पूर्वसमादुत्तर उत्तरो दशांशाधिकांशेन दैर्घ्य एव हृषन्ति उत्तरेण इलावर्तम further and further north of Ilavarta Varsha नीलः नील श्वेतः श्वेत शृंगवान इति thus त्रयः three mountains रम्यक हिरण्यमय Kurunam of the Kuru division, Varshanam of the Varsas, Maryadagriya, the mountains marking the borders, Prag Ayataha, extended on the eastern side, Ubhayataha to the east and the west, Charod, the ocean of salt water, Avadhaya, extending to Dvisahasra Prathavaha, which are 2,000 yojanas wide, Ekashaha, one after another, Purvasmat, then the former, Purvasmat, then the former, Uttaraha, further north, Uttaraha, further north, Dash Amsha Adhika Amshena, by 1/10 of the former, Dairagya in length, Eva indeed, Hirshanti become shorter. Just north of Ilavarta Varsha and going further northward, one after another, are three mountains named Neela, Shweta, and Sringvan. These mark these mark the borders of the three Varsas named Ramyak, Hiranyamay, and Kuru, and separate from one another. So the width of these mountains is 2,000 yojana, 16,000 miles. Lengthwise, they extend east and west to the beaches of the ocean of salt water. Going from south to north, the length of each mountain is one tenth that of the previous mountain, but the height of them all is the same. In this regard, Madhvacharya quotes the following verses from the Brahmanda Purana. Yatha Bhagavate Tuktam Bhavanam Bhavanam Kosha Lakshanam Tasya Avirodhait तस्याविरोधतो योज्यम् अन्यग्रन्थान्तरे स्थितं मण्डोदे पुरु मण्डोदे पुराणं चैव व्यत्यासं क्षीरसागरे राहुः सोमरवीणां च मण्डलाद् द्विगुणोत्थितं विनैव सर्वम् उन्नेयं योजनाभेदतो अत्र तु. It appears from these verses that aside from the sun and moon, there is an invisible planet called Rahu. The movements of Rahu cause both solar and lunar eclipses. We suggest that the modern expeditions attempting to reach the moon are mistakenly going to Rahu. एवं दक्षिणेनेलावृतं निषदो हेमकूटो हिमालय इति प्रागायता यथा नीलादयो योजनोत्सेदः हरिवर्ष किं पुरुष भारतानां यथा संख्यम. Evam thus Dakshinena by degrees of the southern side, Ilavatam of Ilavatvarsa, Nishadha Hemakuta Himalaya. Three mountains named Nishad, Hemakut, and Himalaya. Iti thus Prag Ayataha extended to the east, Yatha just as Nila Adeha, the mountains headed by Nila. Ayut Yojanaha Utsedha, 10,000 yojanas high. Harivarsha, the division named Harivarsha. Kim Purusha, the division named Kim Purusha. Bharatanam, the division named Bharatvarsha. Yatha Sankhyam, according to number. Similarly, south of Ilavrat Varsha and extending from east to west are three great mountains named from north to south Nishad, Hemkut, and Himalaya. Each of them is 10,000 yojanas, 80,000 miles high. They mark the boundaries of the three Varsas named Harivarsha, Kimpurushvarsha, and Bharatvarsha, India. तथैवेलावृतं परेण पूर्वेण च माल्यवदगन्धमादनावानीलनिषिधायतो द्विसहस्रं पप्रथ पाप्रथतु केतुमालभद्रासवो सीमानं विदधाते. तथा एव exactly like that Ilavratam Aparena on the western side of Ilavrat Varsha, Purvena cha and on the eastern side Malyavad Gandhamadanav, the demarcation mountains of Malyavan on the west and Gandhamadan on the east. Anil Nishad Ayatau on the northern side up to the mountain known as Nila, and on the southern side up to the mountain known as Nishad. Dvisahasram, 2000 yojanas, Paprathutah, they extend Ketumala, Bhadrasavayo, Bhadrashvayoho, of the two verses named Ketumala and Bhadras, Simanam, the border, Vidadhate established. In the same way, west and east of Ilavartvarsa are two great mountains named Malyavan and Gandhamadan respectively. These two mountains, which are 2000 yojanas, 16,000 miles high, extend as far as Nil mountain in the north and Nishad in the south. They indicate the borders of the 11th Varsa and also the Varsas known as Ketumal and Vadrasva. So there are so many mountains even on this planet Earth. We do not think that the measurements of all of them have actually been calculated. While passing over the mountains region from Mexico to Caracas, we actually saw so many mountains that we doubt whether their height, length, and breadth have been properly measured. Therefore, as indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam by Shukdev Goswami, we should not try to comprehend the greater mountains areas of the universe merely by our calculations. Shukdev Goswami has already stated that such calculations would be very difficult even if one had a duration of life like that of Brahma. We should simply be satisfied with the statements of authorities like Shukdev Goswami and appreciate how the entire cosmic manifestation has been made possible by the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The measurements given herein, such as 10,000 yojanas or 100,000 yojanas, should be considered correct because they have been given by Shukdev Goswami. Our experimental knowledge can neither verify nor disprove the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. We should simply hear these statements from the authorities. If we can appreciate the extensive energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that will benefit us. So, in this verses from 4 to 10, the fourth verse explains first thing that no one can possibly understand the end of the Lord's material energy. Bhagavato Maya Guna Vibhute. So, Lord's material energy, which is a transformation of three modes, even if somebody takes the time equal to lifetime of Brahma, then also it is very difficult. Vibhudhas Yukshapi. And second point in the fourth slok was that I will try to Sukadeva Goswami says, still I will try to describe the principal regions such as Bhuloka on their names, forms, measurements, and characteristics. Fifth shloka says that Bhumandal resembles like a lotus flower, and there are seven islands which resembles like seven circular coverings of the lotus. And the middle island, known as JambudvIpa, is round like a lotus leaf and measures uh, in length and breadth 1,000 yojanas. So in Jambudvip there are nine verses. The sixth shloka says, okay, so that is 1 million yojanas, है ना? Jambudvip, which is situated in the whole, are 1 million yojana, 8 million miles. Okay, and the sixth shloka says that. Where is it? Okay, that in Jambudvip there are nine verses. है ना? That means divisions of land. So each Varsa or each division of land is they are like 11th Varsa, Bhadras, and Ketumal Varsas are there are exceptions and are separated by 8 mountains ranges that mark their boundaries. So there are nine Varsas basically. It is mentioned in sixth sloka, and all are like 9,000 yojanas. But 11th Varsa, Bhadras Varsa, and Ketumal Varsa they are exceptions. So they are nine. They are not 9,000 yojanas. Okay. And then the seventh shloka says about the 11th versa that it is situated in the middle of Jambudvipa, and it also has Sumeru mountain which is made of gold. Okay, and then seventh shloka second thing explained is about Sumeru mountain that its height. Okay, the height of Sumeru mountain is 100,000 yojanas. Okay, 100,000 yojanas, and out of which 16,000 yojanas are within the earth, and 84,000 are above the earth. Okay, and its width is 32,000 yojanas at its summit, and 16,000 yojanas at its base. That means it is like this. Okay, and then the eighth shloka says that north of 11th Varsha. So there are mountain range named like Neela Shweta Sringavan. This mark because of these three mountains, the three Varsas gets their borders. So they are like Ramyak Varsha, Hiranyama Varsha, and Kuru Varsha. And then south of 11th Varsha is that is in the ninth shloka, that south of 11th Varsha are different mountains. So they are Nishad, Hemkut, and Himalaya. So because of these three Varshas get their boundaries, so they are Hari Varsha, Kim Purush Varsha, and Bharat Varsha. And then some part of 8th shloka and 9th shloka second part. That explains the dimensions of the above mountain ranges. So the width is 2000 yojanas and height is 10,000 yojanas. Okay, and their length is like they extends the east and the west to the Salt Ocean, full length of the Jambudvip. Like, and then going northwards from Mount Nila, the length of each mountain is 10% shorter than that of the previous mountain. The length, okay, because the Jambudvip is like circle, so each mountain becomes short. And then 10th shloka says that east and west of Ilavat Varsa. So two mountain ranges named Malyavan and Gandhamadan were mark the boundaries of Ketumal and Bhadras Varsa with Ilavat Varsha respectively. So the width and height of these mountains are 2000 yojanas and 10,000 yojanas, and lengthwise they extend from Nila mountain in the north to the Nishad in the south. So the point to note here is that two Varshas on the north, that is Kuru Varsha and the Bharat Varsha, are bow shaped like this. Four other Varsas, Kimpurush Varsha, Hari Varsha, and on the other side Ramyak Varsha and Hiranyamaya Varsha are long, and 11th Varsha is square. So Bhadrashva and Ketumal are also shaped like bows and bordered by Nila and Nishad mountain ranges running horizontally and entering the sea. And the second point to note here is that the Ilavarth Varsa is 9,000 yojanas in all four directions. It is like a square shape. So 9,000 yojanas in all directions from Mount Sumeru, which has a base of width of 16,000 yojanas. So in this way, Ilavarth Varsha, Bhadras Varsha, and Ketmal Varsha are 34,000 yojanas. That means 9,000 yojanas plus 16,000 yojanas of base of Mount Meru and 9,000 yojanas on the other side. And so in width, so measuring from north to south, this is the measurement. Now, till here, till 10th shloka is the Jambudvipa explained, and after describing the divisions of Jambudvipa, each Varsha is explained in detail. Okay, so that's the point here. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. And tomorrow we will read from 11th verse, 11th shloka onwards, the description of 11th Varsha and Mount Sumeru. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhupada. Ki Jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam. Ki Jai.